With the opening of the Sydney Opera House in October 1973, Australia gained another international cultural centre. The building is a spectacular landmark on the foreshores of Sydney Harbour. 600 miles away to the south lies the island state of Tasmania. Here, the history-steeped city of Hobart has also seen change. In 1973, a world-class casino opened in an elegant tower on Rest Point. These recent facilities supplement more traditional forms of recreation. For Sydney and Hobart are yachting cities. And each year, one famous race firmly links them both. Wednesday, 26th of December, 1973. The largest ever Hobart race fleet assembles. At the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia in Rushcutters Bay, Sydney, activity increases as departure time draws near. Crewmen move with the unhurried calm of experience, which masks a coiled spring of tension and determination. This year's Hobart race finalises the Southern Cross Cup, an international team series. Yachts are in top racing tune, well prepared through weeks of intensive preliminary racing. For some, today is the culmination of several months of preparation. The many overseas entrants have spent considerable time and effort just to get their yachts here for the start. A record fleet of 93, more than $6 million worth of top ocean racing machinery from Hong Kong, New Zealand, America, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and all the Australian states. As the yachts assemble for the start, so too do the spectator craft. Boat-loving Sydney will pack every vantage point to see the yachts on their way. A centre of attention is the 72-footer Helsel. Owned by Sydney doctor Tony Fisher, she's of lightweight ferro cement construction and was completed only days before the race. This year, the race will be started by the Federal Minister for Sport, the Honourable Frank Stewart, MHR, on board the starting boat, HMAS Archer. The pre-race manoeuvring intensifies as the starting time of 12 noon approaches. "93 yachts head for the line with less than a minute to go to the starting gun. Cardinal Puff, Taurus and Aquila make good starts at the windward end of the line. Well placed soon after the start is Pasha, number 97, as the larger yachts begin to force their way through in the light east-northeast breeze. As the yachts move down the harbour, the spectator craft take off in a crazy race to pace the leaders to the heads. The British 55-footer Qualo 3 takes the lead near South Reef from the West Australian Siska and Sydney yacht Pasha. Apollo is next, followed by another British yacht, Prospect of Whitby. Approaching the heads, Quailo 3 is a clear leader from Pasha as Helsel emerges from the pack. Quailo tacks, and with fine judgment, clears the rounding tug for the honour of being first out of the harbour. Pasha is second out, and she's followed by Siska and Apollo. Prospect of Whitby, Ragamuffin and Superstar chase the early leader as they turn southwards. Not far behind, Seal 3 leads a group of larger yachts as the fleet fans out from the heads, chasing the southbound current and standing into the freshening easterly breeze. Quailo still holds the lead, but the West Australian Siska has moved into second place. Apollo is close behind, and so too is Sid Fisher's Ragamuffin. After a conservative start, the 20-man crew on Helsel are getting the big yacht moving nicely. Arthur Slater's Prospect of Whitby and Peter Kurt's Love and War are next. Hong Kong entrant, Seal 3. Built in Sydney for Bill Turnbull, she's expected to do well. The whole fleet settles down to an easy first-day ride. One of the first to break out a spinnaker is Taurus. Pasha holds fourth place. Apollo is third. Up ahead, Siska chases the early leader, Quailo 3, down the New South Wales coast. By next morning, Thursday, Apollo, the sleek 57-footer, under charter from Sydney owner Jack Rooklin to the Hong Kong Southern Cross Cup team, has crept into the lead. Apollo's crew are acutely aware that 2 miles inshore, the 59-footer Siska is right up with them. Pasha is next, 10 miles astern, enjoying the breeze freshening from the north. This is Helsel's weather, too. Variag, the French entry, is only 7 miles astern of Pasha and is lying second on corrected time. Yachts make good progress all day before the moderate nor'east to nor'west winds, and the 11-year-old race record, made by Ondine in 1962, is already beginning to look within reach of the leaders. Apollo, at her best in this type of downhill race, is reeling off the miles. The whole fleet wonders how much longer the kind northerlies will last. The forecast threatens a strong southwest headwind later, so for now, it's make the most of the following winds and the sunshine. By mid-afternoon, Siska has taken the lead. Apollo now lies second. Prospect of Whitby is leading the race at this stage on corrected time. The largest of the British yachts, Qualo 3, is still well up with the leaders. Barnacle Bill leads the strong New Zealand contingent. The Americans, on Improbable, have the conditions they've been hoping for as the great downhill slide continues well into the afternoon. Late in the day, the breeze dies away. Crews patiently tend their sheets, trying to stop the spinnakers from collapsing. The struggle to keep the yachts moving through light and variable winds is to be a hard night's work. On the morning of the next day, Friday, Helsel has taken the lead and has a new race record in her sights. Apollo is now third, behind Siska. Reports from the Caltex radio relay ship, Maya, indicate the breeze has swung south of east. The pace is slowed by the change of wind, and hopes of a new race record begin to diminish. The Caltex radio relay ship, Maya, gathers position reports from the yachts. These are passed to race headquarters at the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia in Sydney. These position reports are processed by the Honeywell computer, which calculates the corrected times of the yachts. From this information, reports on the progress of the race go out to the waiting news media. Helsel still leads the fleet well into Bass Strait. The breeze is back again from the northeast. The Apollo has regained second place from Siska. Prospect of Whitby is still well placed on handicap, as spinnakers once again pull the whole fleet steadily towards Tasmania. Saturday morning, and thanks to the continuing following wind, Helsel is well poised to break the race record. As Helsel heads well down the Tasmanian coast, her crew cannot afford to relax for a second. Only 5 miles astern is Apollo, and she's catching up to Helsel. Apollo is only 2 miles ahead of Siska, although the West Australian is some 6 miles further to sea. Any one of these 3 leading yachts could take out the coveted Line Honours trophy. In the group of yachts astern of the leaders, the race gathers new life from the freshening northerly breeze. Quailo 3 is the first British yacht ahead of Sir Robert Crichton Brown's Pasha. Striving to maintain her handicap lead, Prospect of Whitby spreads all sail possible as she heads for the last forbidding corner of the course, Tasman Island. Around Tasman Island, Helsel is now well into Storm Bay. She is drawing away from Apollo, which had almost caught her rounding Tasman Island. Under cutter rig, Helsel is doing a good 12 knots. Her longer waterline is enabling her to outpace the smaller Apollo. Siska, still third, prepares to drop the spinnaker as she approaches Tasman Island. The next group of yachts are surfing southwards on the freshening wind. On Saturday morning, the new 39-footer Seal 3 takes over the corrected time lead from Prospect of Whitby. The race is ending as it began, with these notoriously boisterous southern waters in a strangely quiet mood. Helsel is in the Derwent River approaching the finish. Powering along at 10 knots, she's obviously going to break the race record. Her early arrival catches Hobart by surprise, but a spectator fleet is hurriedly launched to welcome her. Apollo is also in the river, but well beaten by Helsel. Siska is in Storm Bay. Helsel, the yacht some said would never reach Hobart, has done better than that. As she crosses the finishing line, she's carved 2 hours, 14 minutes and 7 seconds off the race record. She receives Hobart's warmest welcome. Apollo finishes 40 minutes later. She also beats the old record time by an hour and a half. Siska is also shooting for the old record as she reaches at high speed across Storm Bay towards the Derwent River. Her skipper, Rolly Tasker, sights the Iron Pot at the mouth of the Derwent, just 9 miles from the finish. Apollo motors into the dockside to join the welcoming celebrations. Aboard Helsel, owner-skipper Tony Fisher says it's the happiest day of his life. Siska comes up the river, accompanied by the welcoming and enthusiastic Hobart spectator fleet. She finishes to become the 3rd yacht in the fleet to break the old race record. Later in the day, Pasha finishes on a fading breeze, 5th across the line behind Quayler. And Improbable drifts home. Prospect's hopes are raised by a fresher breeze to the finishing line. Of the yachts to have finished, she leads on corrected time. 7 minutes later comes Ragamuffin. Once again, a Hobart win has eluded this yacht, which has won practically every other major race from Sydney. As the evening light fades, so does the breeze. Queequeg finishes. Will there be enough breeze for any of the subsequent finishers to beat Prospect of Whitby's corrected time? Superstar crosses the line to seal a Southern Cross Cup victory for Britain. Tequila, first New Zealand yacht to finish. Seal 3 is in the river. She can win the race on corrected time only if the wind holds. If it drops, the current will stop her dead and cost her the race, as it's done to so many yachts in previous years. Meanwhile, Taurus finishes. Callipege 2 is next. Seal 3 holds the breeze to the finish. It's midnight, but hundreds of people are still on Battery Point to see this well-sailed small yacht win the Hobart race on corrected time. While the leaders rest in the haven of Constitution Dock, a nor'westerly gale the next day gives the rest of the fleet a hard bash up Storm Bay to the finish. The Caltex radio relay ship Maya enters the dock, the responsibilities of her communications task completed. The 29th Sydney-Hobart race has ended in a corrected time victory for an overseas entry, Seal 3. A race record for a brave new concept big yacht, Helsel, and for more than 400 yachtsmen, the satisfaction of just competing in one of the world's greatest ocean races, and against the sea.